for you to start talking about the book and posters that you've done. So what I will do is I will take 4 students each day, and you will get 2 minutes to talk about what you have studied and what you have done. You do not need to read everything that you have written down, but what I would like you to do is explain. For example, if you chose a Venus flytrap as your plant to do your research on, what I would like you to do is say, oh, today I'm going to talk about the Venus flytrap. Flytrap is a blah blah carnivorous plant that lives in blah 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 blah. Interesting facts about the Venus flytrap's roots are that it blah blah blah. It does this because it doesn't have that much nutrients in the soil. The leaves of a Venus flytrap are also interesting. They are whatever whatever because of blah 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 blah. The stems are blah blah because of blah blah blah. The flowers are blah blah because of blah blah blah. So I don't want you to spend long on each section. What I want you to do is explain just what its adaptation is and why it has that adaptation. Okay, so this is how I want you to do it. Explain what your plant is. Explain where it's from. Talk about each of the sections very quickly. What its adaptation is and why it has that adaptation. 2 minutes, talk, and then fine. So we'll do all of them next week at the start of class. So first thing we'll do when we come into class is we'll take time to go through your presentations with you. At the end of the class, I will send you feedback and commentary about what you have done. And if there is time for questions, we will have time for questions. So does everybody understand what I just explained? Yeah? No questions? Cool. So over the weekend, I'll send a list of the people who will present on Monday. And I do mean this, if you want to spend some time with me practicing, you have my email address. Email me and go, Ryan, can you take 5 minutes to do a quick practice? We can set up a quick practice. We can talk about it and I can help you, okay? Go around the room. So first of all, who is finished? Let me know. Who is not finished?
About flowers and fruits.
Okay, so take this weekend and get some time to get that done, okay?
Okay.
If you are not finished, please take the time today to get, or this weekend, to get it finished. You will do this next week. Everyone will do it, okay? And I will leave commentary for everyone, okay? So, again, not too much information. Explain what you're going to talk about and explain the parts in which you did your study on. You do that, perfect, awesome, great. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about rainforests. What is the highest layer of our rainforest called?
Emergent.
Okay, what animals live in the emergent section?
Birds.
Bird, yeah, flying animals. What section is below the emergent? Hermione.
Canopy.
Canopy. Okay. Again, what are you doing? Okay, so what is interesting about the canopy layer? There's two things that are interesting about it.
Almost 70 to 90% of there is animal life.
Yeah, animal and plant life, right? 70 to 90% of animal and plant life live there. What else is interesting about the canopy layer? What does it do to the rest of the rainforest? So in the canopy layer, there are so many trees. What does that do to the rest of the forest?
It has so many trees that it blocks away all the sunlight.
Yeah, perfect, good job. So there are so many trees in that canopy layer that blocks sunlight for the rest of the layer, okay? It stops sunlight from getting through. Remember, The canopy is like this. All the trees work together, and only tiny little areas where sunlight can actually get through is what the canopy does. So it has lots of plant and animal life, but it also stops sunlight from getting through. What layer is underneath the canopy layer?
The understory layer.
Yeah, the understory layer. Good job. What plants live in the understory layer? Yeah, Ming Cho.
Some small trees.
Yeah, small trees, exactly. Small trees, vines and shrubs, okay? They live there. It's where they're growing in order to get big. And the last layer, Minnie, what's the last layer called? The bottom layer?
The forest floor.
Yeah, good job. So the forest floor, not that much sunlight. There's lots of dead leaves though, right? We've got lots and lots and lots of plants in the canopy layer, and they have lots and lots of dead leaves that fall to the forest floor. So that's a rainforest, okay? So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna move on to something else. All the marine life, basically. So first of all, how many oceans are there in the world?
I think 5.
5, yeah, there's 5. Who can help me name the oceans? Okay, so let's try. Jon Snow.
Pacific.
Hello. Pacific, yes. Pacific is 1. What's another one? Pizza.
Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. Hey, what's another one?
Indian Ocean.
Indian Ocean. There's 2 more.
Arctic Ocean.
Arctic Ocean, yeah, that's 4. There's 1 more.
Southern Ocean.
Southern Ocean, good job. So there's 5 oceans in the world. You have Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic, and Southern Ocean. So here's a map of where they are. So here you got the Atlantic, the Pacific, the Indian, the Southern. The Pacific goes around lots, and the Arctic is there as well. Now, what I want you to also remember is that in each of these places, you also have things like the Mediterranean Sea. Here you have the Gulf of Kuwait. Here you've got the Gulf of India. Here you've got the Gulf of Thailand, the South China Seas. Over here you've got the Caribbean Sea. Over here you've got the Bering Sea. You've got the North Sea. You've got the Gulf of Greenland. You've got lots of these little seas, okay, also intertwine and actually act with all of these oceans as well. They're all part of it. Okay, well, hold on. Who's got their hands up? Yes, A, what's your hand up for?
You forgot the Gulf. You forgot the Baltic Ocean.
Yeah, but like it's very small. Baltic Sea.
Baltic Sea.
Yeah, there's the Baltic Sea.
Baltic.
Okay. There's the Baltic Sea. Now they're all seas, okay? They are part of the ocean, but they're actually seas because they're closer to land. What are the abiotic? What are the non-living things that can affect an ocean?
Sunlight.
Yeah, sunlight, definitely, 100%. Sunlight has a huge effect.
An abiotic factor at the ocean.
Yes.
A rock.
A rock. Yep, I would agree with you. Rocks, definitely. Emily.
There's pollution.
Pollution. Yeah, definitely pollution can affect it. Ming Cho.
Water.
Water. Yeah, water, 100%. Something that's different between the Arctic, Pacific, and Atlantic Oceans is that there is more fresh water in Arctic Ocean than there is in the Atlantic and Pacific. There's not as much salt water because of all of the frozen ice water that exists there. The water is actually fresher. What's another one? All oceans are slightly different, okay? The amount of sunlight, the temperature, amount of wind, and the amount of water. Water currents. What's a famous water current? Who knows what a water current is? Who has seen Finding Nemo? You know, in Finding Nemo, Marlin and Dory there, and they talk to the fish, and the fish is like, oh, blah, 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 and it starts doing like imitations of other fish. And they go, oh, can you tell me the way to the East Australian current, please? So underneath the ocean, you have all of these really, really warm currents, okay? You move warm water from one place to another. Now, these these areas of warm water actually keep the world's temperature warm and not going cold. The really famous one is called, these currents exist and they keep the temperatures of water in different temperatures which are optimal for them. You've also got soil type, and you've also got depth as well. Think about the animals that live really, really deep down in the sea. Okay, the sea is the deep. There's Mariana Trench is the deepest place in the world. The fish that live down there are able to survive the high pressure. If you took a fish that was living in the Mariana Trench to the top, it explodes because the pressure is completely different. All of these things affect everything within the ocean ecosystems, right? They all play a role. So I'm going to show you a quick video of a way in which ocean ecosystems actually work together to create what are huge events. So coral reefs are areas where coral has grown on rocks and create an underwater ecosystem. Coral are like plants. They make food from the sun. So if I was to ask you, what are the abiotic factors need to happen for coral reefs, what would they be? What do you need for a coral reef to happen? Do you know? Sunlight, yeah, definitely. Sunlight, 100%. You need sunlight. What else do you need? What do coral grow on? Lily.
Think on the bottom of the ocean or the sea.
Yeah, they grow on rocks, right? They grow on rocks that are on the bottom of the ocean, the sea. What else do they need? Ming Cho.
They need sunlight for food.
They need sunlight for food. Okay, so if they need sunlight, what do they need? They can't be in a very, very deep place, right? They can't be somewhere that's so dark down that they can't actually get any sunlight. So they exist in places where there's warm water because there's lots of sunlight and it's not very deep. Okay, it needs to be there because if they don't have this, they are not going to be able to get the sunlight they need to make food. If they can't make food, the other animals that live in the ecosystem don't actually get to live there. Corals make homes for fish. Fish hide their young there, they eat the coral. The coral give them food. There's a huge ecosystem that exists in coral reefs. Now, here's an interesting fact, is that these reefs are built up by what are called coral polyps. This is a polyp right here. The bits that come out, they're called polyps. They all look very different. 25% of the world's fish, which is a huge amount, rely on coral reefs. Without coral reefs, 25% of the world's fish will disappear. Now, a coral reef is things also like mango trees and seagrass, but I'll talk about that after. But 25% is a huge amount. Their home and their food. Animals and biodiversity found here is only matched by rainforests, okay? So if you think that in the canopy layer of a rainforest, there's 70 to 90% of animals, and rainforests are 50% of all animals in the world. That means that you have nearly 45% of all the animals in the world living in the canopy layer of a rainforest. And in coral reefs, you got 25% as well. So that's a huge amount, right? That's a lot of animals in one particular place. And coral reefs and rainforest are the only ones like that, okay? So here is an idea about coral reefs, okay, and where exactly they grow. Now, if you were to draw a line, okay, where the equator is. So the equator is kind of like about here, okay, around there. Now what you see is in these warm places which are close to the equator, you get lots and lots of coral reefs. And it's the same with rainforests as well, right? So you get a rainforest here in Amazon, you get it in the basin here in Africa, you get it in like Papua New Guinea and Australia, you get this too. Look, as well, you get cold coral reefs when it's a little bit above the equator. and a little bit below it. And it's the same with forest, right? You get forest in Canada, and in Mincho, don't start drawing on my screen. And forest in Russia, and even down here in the bottom of Argentina, you get lots and lots and lots of forest where it's a little bit colder. New Zealand as well. So the reason I bring this up is because I want you to understand the adaptations, okay? Even coral adapt to where they are. As long as they're getting sunlight, they'll make the adaptations to survive in where they are growing. Yes, Dino.
Nothing.
Okay, Emily. Yes, Emily. Have your hand up.
So are there 5 oceans or 6 oceans?
There's 5. Okay,
But
thanks for
I saw that it is 6.
No, there's 2 Pacifics. Pacific's huge, so it goes on 2 sides. You want to see the picture again? So Pacific, same ocean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so coral reefs and rainforest, okay? So they are a little bit different, but they're actually kind of the same. I'm just gonna do it for you, just be quicker and easier. So if I was to look at the abiotic factors in both the coral reef and rainforest, okay, they're actually kind of similar. Rainforest, they rain all year round, lots of water, get lots of sunlight, right? And they've got warm temperatures. Abiotic factors of a coral reef, they're under the sea, okay, so they get lots and lots of water then. They need sunlight in order to make food, but mostly they are warm. They've got these ocean currents that come through, okay? Look at the biotic life. This is where it gets really, really, really similar, okay? Lots of animal life. 50% of all animals live here, and there's lots and lots of trees, okay? Coral reefs, loads of animals as well. 25%, oh, go back. Did Ryan. 25% of all animal life live there. There's lots and lots and lots of coral. Coral's alive, trees are alive. So that's really, really the same, right? Oh, I'm very disappointed. Many trees can grow there and they can cause crowding, right? We saw that in the canopy layer, there's so many trees that it actually stops sunlight from getting down to the bottom. Think about the same for coral as well, right? Coral needs sunlight, and there's lots of coral on the top of the rock. Well, then not much coral is going to grow underneath it. Many coral which can cause crowding, which can also stop sunlight from getting to the coral underneath. That's really the same, right? You know, look at the abiotic factors. Yeah, okay, they're in different places. Their areas in which they grow are different. Yes, one grows on the land, one grows on the sea. But if you look at the biotic life, very similar, okay? This is why coral reefs and rainforests are like very similar to one another. When people start comparing rainforests and coral reefs, use them in the same like talking sense because they are very much similar, especially in terms of the amount of life that they have and the factors which can cause that to happen as well. So for your homework, what I want you to do is I want you to choose an animal from a coral reef and write about its adaptations. Examples would be things like rockfish or octopus or jellyfish or reef sharks, anything like this. What I'll do for you to help you choose an animal is I will add a picture to this next slide. I'll put 4 animals up on the slide. I then want you to choose one of the animals to write about. Again, this is how I want you to conduct this, right? I want you to state what the animal's name is. I want you to draw the animal, draw the ecosystem where the animal is, and then also write some facts about the animal. So, question